Okay, well, good morning, and on behalf of the National Weather Service in Raleigh, this is Nick Petro with your routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. And this weather briefing covers the period today through the last day of July, through the 31st, which is Sunday. And as I like to do, let's take a look at our current conditions, because this will paint the picture and set the table for the slides that I'm going to show here. Let's put satellite and radar on. And one thing that'll quickly jump out at you probably is this big area right here of not only clouds, but also scattered rain, right? So all of this is associated, that's there for a reason. And if I plot temperatures, here's temperatures, you'll notice, look at the transition, where we have 80s and 90s south of this circled area, and we have 60s and 70s north of the circled area of the Great Lakes. And then it kind of varies. It's cooler under the clouds and rain, but basically the circled area is a transition zone. Well, as you might expect, this is a cold front. Obviously, if you're up in Wisconsin, it's very pleasant. But if you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, point south, it's, we've got heat and humidity issues. That's our air temperature. Look at the heat index values. We've got, we're heat index already up into the low to mid 90s. So anyway, this band of showers and clouds, this whole system is going, the whole thing is going to basically, move east with time. And you see these showers kind of here. Whenever it rains, it sends out these outflow boundaries that kind of progress to the southeast. And so that's kind of happening as well. But let me zoom in and kind of get a little tighter view of what's going on here locally. And you'll see a couple things I'll draw your attention to. You'll notice how there's a kind of a quick drop in temperature over the, almost like a little local, if you will, a local boundary, if you will, between where heat indices are in the 90s versus 80s, or it could be temperatures as well. Basically the bottom line is there's a temperature difference here. Well, there's almost a semi-permanent pressure pattern here known as the Piedmont Trough. And this is not unusual, but troughs tend to have sort of, on the front side of this trough, winds tend to be more from the south, and on the back side of this trough, winds tend to be more from the southwest. And we could probably see that in the observations here. Let me put on wind. Yeah, it's not quite as evident. The Piedmont Trough hasn't quite tightened up yet, so to speak. But you can kind of see there's some southerlies and, a little bit more southwesterly, like over the upstate of South Carolina. But the bottom line is along this trough and convergence zone is where in the last 2, maybe 3 days, we have seen a lot of showers and thunderstorms develop right over central North Carolina because of that. Well, I think that might be the case today, but more likely, I think we're going to start to begin to see some influence from this big complex of showers and storms and clouds and cold front. Notice the northerly winds here over Indianapolis, so that's another suggestion that there's a cold front in there versus the southwest wind and the southerly winds here. So the cold front's in here somewhere. But basically, what we're going to see, and you've probably already noticed this here, look at these little specks right here, these showers right here. Well, there's going to be additional showers and storms forming over the mountains, which is climatologically, typical anyway for a hot day, with localized heating above. That's and the resultant upslope flow. A lot of times we see showers and storms developing over the mountains that then drift kind of eastward with time. But so anyway, the bottom line is we do expect these showers and storms to progress south and east, and we expect additional showers and storms to form over the mountains where they're already forming and move east, and then perhaps one big band that develops later today. Okay, so we've got a lot of things going on here. We've got this frontal system that I've kind of outlined here, and we've got the typical daily showers and storms over the higher terrain, and both of these features are resulting in showers and thunderstorms. And eventually we're just going to get on we're going to be downwind of all that when those come moving along and push over our area later today. Now, another way to visualize this happening is with simulated reflectivity. Our models tend to do a pretty decent job simulating that occurrence, right? So I'm just going to pick one random model here, the NAM3, and then I'm going to put it forward in time, and this is roughly the current time right now. And you could see in this simulation here, it's a little bit more robust than what's actually happening over eastern West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, Tennessee. But those specks of showers and storms are there. This currently over south central Virginia isn't there, but perhaps it may develop with time. But watch what happens. We have storms that form in the mountain right there. That's in the 1 to 2 p.m. time frame. And we have the storms that are developing up over western Virginia around that same time frame. And then as I move forward in time, look what happens. They kind of converge into one consolidated line. That's 5 p.m. And then this is 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. So what it appears to be is that this is a later day event. And as I zoom into more of the central North Carolina, you can see, I'm going to back up now in time. So it looks like the triad really gets into this rain probably around 4 p.m., maybe 5 p.m. And then over to Burlington to Asheboro, down to Albemarle by 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and then to the Triangle by 8 or 9 p.m. So this is late in the afternoon during the evening, and then finally pushing east toward Rocky Mount, but generally weakening. It looks like the southern tier of North Carolina kind of misses out on a lot of that rain. So let me zoom out one more time and then just take you through this again. So this is basically roughly the current time. That would be 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Now, let me back up right here. See these cells right here forming over the triangle region out ahead? That's that Piedmont Trough feature that I was kind of hinting at earlier. And then, so anyway, that's 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and so on. So given the current heating that's going on, as I pointed out, it's already hot. Temperatures in the 80s, lower 90s, and heat indices quickly climbing. There'll be lots of heat and instability and fuel and humidity for these storms to grow tall, and the possibility exists that one or two of them may have some damaging wind gusts. So that's a quick overview of what the current situation is. We sent this slide out a little bit earlier in the day that shows our two main concerns for today. Number one, the heat and the heat index values exceeding 100, particularly along and east of US 1. Again, we're in the midst of this heat spell. And after this briefing and recording's over, I'll have a little bonus material looking further down the road so if you're joining live, hang in there. I'll show that at the end. And then notice how the darker green, that represents a marginal risk for severe storms, mainly along and north of 85, northern Piedmont, with the main threat being damaging winds. Okay, so that's our main concerns for today. And quite frankly, that boundary is not really going to move a whole lot. It'll probably be reinforced with yet another one that dives into it. So you could see, look at this pattern here on this chart right here, and then it really doesn't move a whole lot as we get to the midweek. It shifts a little bit east and south, but not, still generally it's there. And then the weekend charts kind of look about the same, So the bottom line is we're going to have scattered late day showers and thunderstorms each day this week and into this weekend. I think the days with the greatest storm coverage may actually be Tuesday and Friday, because today's Monday, right? By Tuesday, that whole band of showers and storms that I pointed out on satellite and radar earlier, that band will shift a little bit further south. So that may give us a little bit better coverage tomorrow. And then there'll be a reinforcing shot of that late in the week. Now, when I say Friday, it could be Friday night. It could be maybe even Saturday. That's why we generalize it there in the lower right and say upcoming weekend. But anyway, those are the days that I think will have the greatest coverage. I think there's going to be storms every day this week. But in terms of coverage, those are the days I think it's going to be the greatest coverage, where everybody's going to get a chance to see rain. All right, well, we can never rule out isolated damaging wind gusts with any of the strongest thunderstorms anytime this year, quite frankly. But it looks like today the greatest coverage of severe storms will be north along the Virginia line. Look at yesterday. We had 5 severe thunderstorm warnings out, and we were not in a marginal. You know what I mean? So the point is that you can have isolated severe cells regardless of whether we're in a marginal, slight. Regardless of the SPC outlook, this time of year with all the heat and humidity, almost any day there could be an isolated severe thunderstorm or 2 or 3 or 5 like yesterday. so anyway, but the marginal and slight risks, those just help identify where we think it's going to be more concentrated. Okay, so anyway, and then finally, the heat will continue for the foreseeable future, fortunately. All right, so I gotta switch pointers here. Bear with me for just a second. All right, so here's our rainfall maps, and you can see, and I should do a better job labeling this. I apologize. Upper left is today, middle upper is Tuesday, upper right is Wednesday, lower left is Thursday, middle bottom is Friday, and the lower right is the 5-day accumulation. And the bottom line is the data. Tripping over my tongue here. The greatest storm coverage will be Tuesday and Friday, as I originally mentioned. But when you add up 7 days worth of rainfall, 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible throughout the next week or so. And always the caveat, there could be locally higher amounts wherever these bigger storms set up. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. What about our flash flood potential? Well, there's a product called the Excessive Rainfall Outlook that our National Center up in DC puts out. It's called the ERO, Excessive Rainfall Outlook. And basically what it does is it gives us a sense of, which areas might have the greatest risk for flash flooding. Okay, and again, storms this time of year are usually capable of producing heavy downpours. It's the middle of the summer. There's lots of humidity. So any thunderstorm can produce a heavy downpour and localize poor drainage flooding. But we think, again, in terms of concentration, isolated flash flooding will be possible any of the next couple of days, but especially across the North Carolina Piedmont and points to the north and west. It doesn't mean it's not possible, say, for example, today east of I-95. It's possible, yeah, but it's more likely where you see the green and the yellow. All right, in terms of severe thunderstorm outlooks, I kind of already alluded to what this means. It's where's the greatest concentration. And again, you'll there's certain things you're probably catching on to, is like see where this is. That's in conjunction with that frontal system and those showers and thunderstorms along that frontal system. And you can see the pattern doesn't change very much each day. That frontal system is really not going anywhere anytime soon. And you can see that either we are under a marginal or we're very close to being under a marginal. But again, even if we're under general thunder, which is the light green, there's always a risk for an isolated severe storm. This time of year, the main damaging point is wind gusts, okay? So that's the severe thunderstorm outlook. All right, hang on here. Okay, now taking a look at the tropics. Nothing new there in the tropics, not unusual for July. Like I said, give it a couple weeks and I'm sure this map will be lighting up. Okay, 8 to 14 day outlook. What about next week? Well, more of the same. Above normal temperatures and, suggestions that the southern Appalachians, central Appalachians down to the deep south might be experiencing a better chance for rain. So we'll see how that pans out. All right, here's the drought update from what was released last Thursday. And you can see again, east of I-95 is the area with the greatest concern still. And that kind of wraps things up. So you can see the details there at the bottom kind of show that continuation of the mid and upper 90s for temperatures. So little change there. And you'll probably also notice, look at the today and tonight and evening time frames. And if you're wondering, well, wait a minute, I thought you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, today's show is mostly sunny. I thought you said it was going to rain. Well, it's a late day rain, so that tonight period starts basically at 6 p.m. By definition. So so our rain chances today are going to be more geared toward the evening hours. I think I showed that in the radar reflectivity simulations, but anyway, don't let the mostly sunny for today fool you. It will rain later this evening. Okay, so tonight and Tuesday, 40%, 30%, 30% Wednesday, 30% Wednesday night, 30% Thursday night, 30%, Friday, 50%. So here we are in the midst of summer. Pretty much, pretty much the same thing every day. So, and again, just remember that, you know, damaging wind gusts are always a threat, regardless of the SPC outlook. Isolated flash flooding is always a concern, regardless of the ERO. If it rains heavy enough over a short period of time in the same place, it'll, localized flooding could occur. So anyway, keep that in mind. And I'd be remiss if I didn't have a slide that featured heat safety. Again, I mean, this is probably, of all the risks, this is probably the biggest risk, and probably affecting people the most, sending more people to the hospital than anything else this time of year, is the heat. So again, limit those outdoor activities, especially during the afternoon. Keep those outdoor activities mainly geared towards the morning and the evenings, and drink plenty of water, and all the other bullet points you see there. All right, so that is the weekly briefing for Central North Carolina.